What's good, y'all? It's Better Dean. In this video, by popular demand, I'm be giving y'all my stats and extracurriculars that got me to all these schools over here. Now, before I start, I have a computer over here to look at stats and extracurriculars while I talk about them to y'all. So if I keep looking over there, that's why. Alright, let's get into it. So the first thing we got are my demographics. These are stuff you put on the Common and Coalition app. Honestly, I don't know how much of a role they played into my admission. The school I am going to, USC, it's a really diverse school, so I don't think it played that much of a role. But if y'all want to know, I am Indian, I am Muslim, and I am not a first-generation student. Both my parents went to college, so they went to college outside of the United States, but I don't know if those colleges care about that. But anyway, those are my demographics. Nothing much to see there. Alright, now let's get into the actual stuff, which are my classes. So we're going to start off with the summer of my freshman year. So my school has something called a VPA, or a Visual Performing Arts requirement. So to get that out of the way, over the summer between 8th grade and freshman year, I took digital photography. I got A's both semesters. So it's a summer, but the class is divided into two parts, and I got A pluses both semesters. That's pretty much it. Nothing much to see there. So now we're going to move on to the fall of my freshman year. So first semester freshman year, I took Algebra 2 Honors, Biology, regular, English 9, that's also our regular English requirement, Modern World History, that's our history requirement, Speech and Debate, I was on the Speech and Debate team, so if you're on the Speech and Debate team, you have to take the class for at least a semester. It took a little more than that because I was trying to compete. And then I took PE with Health, so PE, everyone has to take it, but the health requirement is a requirement that I have to fulfill for graduation. So I got that out of the way during my first semester of my freshman year. Got all A's, 4.0 GPA. Pretty easy freshman year, wasn't too bad. That's it. So moving on to next semester, spring semester, same classes. The only thing that changed was instead of PE, I tried out for the boys volleyball team, and I made the boys volleyball team. So that's something I played throughout, not all 4 years, all 3 years, because COVID hit my 4th year, so I couldn't play. But anyway, I made it onto the volleyball team. The only grade that did change was Algebra 2 Honors. I got a B that semester, mostly because I switched teachers. Since I did switch from PE to volleyball, that kind of messed around with my schedule, and I got a different teacher, a harder teacher, some would say. So my grade dropped a little bit there, but that's that. Nothing much to see there, freshman year. So now we're going to move on to the summer between my sophomore and my freshman year, so my sophomore year summer. I took chemistry, so I wanted to take AP chemistry either my junior or my senior year, and I knew I wouldn't have any other available summers to take it, so I took it between the summer of my freshman and sophomore year. Got A minuses both semesters, nothing much to see. Next, we're going to move on to my sophomore year fall, and this is where my grades started taking a little dip. So this semester, I took Pre-Calculus, AP Biology, English 10 Honors, Spanish 1. I took the Speech and Debate team class again because I wanted to keep competing and just wanted the extra time and the free period to boost my GPA, and volleyball again. This semester was kind of rough, not gonna lie. So AP Biology, I got a B minus, mostly just because AP Biology takes a little bit of an adjustment period, and I just need that adjustment period. And then English and Honors, I am not good at English. It's something I wish I realized a little bit earlier so I could have prepared for it, but it is what it is. High school's over now, but yeah. So those are the two Bs I got during that semester. Moving on to next semester, same exact classes, nothing changed here. I was able to bring up my AP Biology grade and to get up to an A minus, so a little bit of an upward trend there. And then English and Honors, like I said, English it's not my thing. I wish I knew that, but let's move on. So now we're going to go to the summer between my junior and my senior year. No, sophomore and my junior year, so my junior year summer. I took US History, that's kind of our history requirement. I wanted to get it out of the way during the summer, so I could take not more classes, but kind of like take a little bit of free period to balance out my other hard English and math and science APs. So I took US History, got that over with, got an A and an A plus. Not much to see there. Okay, fall junior year. Okay, this semester was a little bit of an adjustment period. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't too bad. This time I took, I knew that AP Physics was going to be a bit of a struggle, so I kind of took tutoring outside of school for that, and I was able to maintain my grades a little bit more. All my other classes were not too bad. They're mostly regular classes. AP Computer Science Principles, most people would say it's a pretty easy AP, so it wasn't too hard to maintain my grade. That's pretty much it. AP Calculus did take a little bit of an adjustment period, so first semester I got a B+. Now we're going to move on to the second semester of my junior year. This is when COVID hit, so to be honest, the first quarter my grades were really bad. I probably had like 3 Bs, and then COVID hit. We moved to online school. I was able to focus a little bit more, pull up my grades. It's pretty easy, 4.0 GPA, good upward trend for me there when I'm applying to college. Since, like, if you all didn't know, the second semester junior grades, those are kind of pretty important grades because those are the last indication not really the last indication of colleges, but if you're applying early action or early decision, these grades are the last grades that they see. They don't really get to see your first semester senior year grades, so it's nice to have this 4.0 to end off. Now moving into the summer between my senior year and between the summer between my junior and my senior year. So last summer, I took Gov and Econ, so American Government and Economics. This is also a history requirement that I took so I could like not take history during the year. And then I also took AP Psychology at another school. It's an online charter school type of thing, but I was able to take that AP class. Got all A's, pretty nice. That's it. Now we're moving into the fall semester of my senior year. So only schools that I applied to regular decision saw these grades before they made their decision. I took AP Calculus BC, AP Chemistry, AP Lit, so AP English Literature, Spanish 3. Medical Careers is an elective class that I took kind of as a GPA boost. Same thing with Sports Medicine. These are both like GPA boost classes. Got all A's. I mean, this is, once again, realize that this is online school, so we're still in quarantine. School online, it's a lot easier than school in person. I mean, most of y'all have probably figured it out by now, but not bad. Pretty easy. I also lucked out really hard with getting super easy teachers for my senior year fall semester, which is really nice, especially because, as you all know, I applied to 55 colleges, so to keep up with that time constraint, it's really nice that I had some really easy teachers that were giving me really easy A's. To be honest, I didn't really learn much, if I'm being completely honest, but got all A's. That's nice. Okay, now we're going to move into the second semester of my senior year. So, second semester senior year, sports medicine is a one semester class, so I had to do another class. I was going to do volleyball this semester since volleyball is a spring sport, but because of COVID, I didn't feel safe playing volleyball again. Even though my team was doing conditioning and stuff, I didn't feel safe. Didn't really feel necessary either. It's the second semester of my senior year. Like, it's not going to be a huge deal. Nice to keep fit and stuff, but not really a huge deal. So instead I took speech and debate again. It's kind of an easy free period that kind of boosted my GPA. Something that I could just put there instead of volleyball. So this semester, honestly, I don't know what my grades are going to be, but senioritis is hitting pretty hard, so we'll see what my grades are going to be. Probably make a couple B's and A's, but we'll see. Alright, so those are my classes. Now that we've gone through the classes, let's get into the actual GPA. So in terms of GPA, my freshman year I had a 3.93. As you all saw, I had 1B my second semester. My sophomore year I had a 3.79. So once again, a little bit of a dip there. Like I said, I got 3 B's throughout the 2 semesters, 2 B's first semester, 1B second semester. It's not the best GPA, to be honest, but it is what it is. Junior year, same thing. I got 1B one semester, so 3.93, just like my freshman year. And the cumulative, so this is the cumulative that I sent out to all of my early action schools. I didn't early decision anywhere, which I kind of regret, and I'll get into that more in my advice section and in other future videos. But cumulative GPA was 3.89. That's the GPA that went out to all of my early action schools. And then senior year, fall semester, like I said, I got a 4.0 online school, super easy. And then my cumulative jumped up not too much. It was just 0.01 points, so 3.9. Kind of nice to like have it flatline out instead of being like 3.8 some schools and like it's actually 3.89, you know. It doesn't really matter, but that's my GPA. I know that's like a big thing y'all are wondering about. So 3.89, 3.9 for regular decision. Now, test scores. So I took both ACT and SAT. I took diagnostics for them, and I also took the actual test. SAT was really bad. I'm not going to show it. I didn't submit it anywhere. No one saw my SAT, and it's going to remain that way. No one is ever going to see my SAT. But ACT was the one that I actually sent out to all my schools. I took this between the summer of... When did I take this? I think I took this before my junior year. So it was I got it out like really early. It was nice because like now that COVID hit, everyone was able to like not take it was really hard for people to take the SAT, and it was really nice for me to have it done by the beginning of my junior year. No COVID, in person. It wasn't chill, but more chill than I guess taking it during COVID. But anyway, this is my score. I got 36 on English, 35 on reading, 31 on math, 30 on science, and that all came into a composite of 33. It's not a great score. It's a good score. It's not a great score. A lot of the schools I applied to were really great schools, so it kind of pans out that like my SAT's okay. It's not the best of the best, but I'm happy with it. I'm happy especially because like I didn't have to worry about taking it during COVID, or like I know some people have flew out to like Arizona or some other states from California, so glad I didn't have to do that and got it out of the way. Okay, so this is the part, this is more of the intangible stuff, so you all saw my stats. Now we're going to get into my extracurriculars. If y'all didn't know, the common application has 10 slots for extracurricular activities, the coalition application has 8 slots, and then the UC application is nice because it has 20 slots on there. So this doesn't mean you need to fill up all 20 slots. For the common and coalition application, you should try to fill up all 10 or all 8, but for the UC application, definitely you don't have to fill up all 20 slots. Even for the common or coalition application, if you have some really extensive extracurricular activities, I know a lot of people who don't fill up all 10 or all 8 either because their 1 or 2 activities are really extensive. That's something that I didn't do, I wish I'd done, but I'll talk more about that in the advice section at the end of this video. But here's all the extracurriculars that I did in high school. You yourself can kind of infer which 8, 10, or 20 that I used, but here we go. Alright, so the first extracurricular that was a big part of my life was the American Red Cross. It's kind of where I spent a lot of time in high school. Maybe I could have gotten better grades if I spent less time, who knows, but anyway, let's get into it. So, within the American Red Cross, I had a couple of things. The first one was the American Red Cross Arcadia Youth Corps. So this is kind of the governing body for all the clubs within my region. This year, I was the Activities and Fundraising Officer. Last year, I was the Disaster Preparedness Officer. And then the 2 years before that, so my freshman and sophomore years, I was a member. Now, the next thing I got is the American Red Cross Youth First Aid Stations and Training Program. So it's pretty long. It's called a YFAST program. This is actually a really big thing that I was hoping not would get me into a BSMD program, but would kind of look good on my BSMD applications. It was a one-time thing, so it kind of makes sense, but that I didn't get into BSMD programs. But anyway, this is a program where you get certified in certain certifications. One of them is BLS. I'll talk more about the exact certifications in a couple minutes, but this was a pretty big thing. I went out to the Rose Parade. I volunteered at a first aid tent, took care of patients and stuff, or I guess people that like needed help. We didn't really have anything serious, but it was a really cool activity that I got to take part of. In addition to just being a first aid volunteer, I was also a communications youth. So this just means that for all the band members, so all the people that are performing in the parade, these are sometimes people that are minors without their parents, so their legal guardian is pretty much just their band leader or like the person or like their band teacher or something. So we're kind of responsible if they come in to get medical assistance to kind of keep track of them where they are and stuff. So that's what I did as communications youth. So if anyone ever came in, I would kind of text, or it wasn't a text, it was a Google form that I had to fill out to let them know like, here they came here, here's where they're going, blah blah blah, all that stuff. But really super meaningful activity. One of the biggest reasons why I want to do medicine. It was really cool, and I might continue doing it in college and stuff too. But anyway, let's get on. So next one is the Arcadia High School Red Cross Club. So this is kind of the sub part of the youth corps. It's just the club at my high school. This year I was the co-president. Last year I was the vice president. The year before that, my sophomore year, I was the publicity director, and my freshman year I was a member. Not too big of a deal. It's a club. You host club meetings. You do a couple events per semester. Pretty much it. Really light stuff. But yeah. Next one. So this is another big thing that just wasn't not for BSMD, but like just in college for general. It's a really big thing that I really highlighted in my essays and stuff. Not because. So I'll get into it, but essentially this is called the American Red Cross Leadership Development Camp or Virtual Conference. So last year was a virtual conference. This year also it's a virtual conference. So this year. Senior year, the summer, it's a summer camp, so the summer before my senior year, and I'm also doing it this summer as well. Even though I'm going to college, I'm probably doing it throughout college. I am a staff member, so it's kind of, you can kind of imagine it's a camp. They have staff members or like camp counselors if you're like thinking about like generic camps. And then the year before that, my summer between my sophomore and my junior year, I was a delegate, so I attended the camp, did all the activities and stuff. But the reason why this is so big is because within the camp, we host certain sessions. As staff members, we're assigned to certain sessions, and I was assigned to the diversity session. And with everything that happened this year, diversity is a big thing that colleges were looking for. So it was really nice that I had this experience. Diversity is obviously something that like I've been doing a lot of work in with cultural awareness and stuff. But within the diversity and cultural awareness session, especially next year too, if any of y'all are applying to college next year, you'll be getting a lot of diversity prompts. It's been something that's happening almost every year, but especially this year and moving forward, it'll be a lot more. They'll ask you like, oh, what have you done within your community, or like, just the prompt can come in a lot of different ways. They're just asking for your experience or thoughts or views or stuff like that on diversity and cultural awareness. So get ready for that. This was a really nice activity for me to talk about with it for those prompts. But moving on. The last thing, this is a pretty short-lived thing. It's called the American Red Cross Leaders Saves Lives program, and pretty much everyone that participates in it is called a blood drive ambassador. You used to host blood drives. I hosted 2 blood drives, I think between my sophomore and junior, or my junior and senior year. I honestly don't remember, but 2 blood drives, not a big deal. It was just nice leadership and like organization skills that I was able to put into my activities section. Most of this stuff, this is actually something I should have told y'all, but most colleges, in addition to your activities list, they also sometimes ask for a resume, which is really nice. So this is all the stuff that was on my resume that I'm pretty much telling you. So even if I didn't put on my activities list, the colleges saw this, or like anyway, the colleges that asked for my resume saw all these activities. So this is the activity that they saw. They saw the 2 blood drives that I did. That's that. I'm not gonna linger on that for too long. Pretty simple. So the next grouping, the next section of activities are my medical experience. So these activities, I mostly did these to apply to BSMD programs, but also because I was looking into pre-med. So the first thing is my City of Hope Precision Imaging Lab internship. So it's an internship that I'm continuing in college. It's essentially an internship. I do radiology work. They send me MRI scans, or MRI scans usually that I kind of segment, do stuff like that. It's obviously I started it. So all these activities, I either started them last summer, so summer between my junior and my senior year, or at the beginning of my senior year. So super short activities when it comes to applying to college. So I knew that when I applied to BSMD that it was pretty much a long shot, because these activities, usually for BSMD, they require like extensive experience or like long-term experience. I don't have either, so this is just all the stuff that I kind of did to kind of put me a little bit forward, maybe see if I had a chance, because my parents wanted me to apply. I wanted to apply as well. It's something that I wanted to get into. I just knew I couldn't with all these things. So, but anyway, next thing was Methodist Hospital Southern California. This one actually, okay, I lied. Not all of these were the summer. Most of them were. This is the only one that wasn't just during the summer of my junior and senior year. I actually started this my sophomore year, a little bit earlier than that too, probably the end of my freshman year. It's just volunteering at a hospital. I push around a coffee cart, give coffee to patients, do comfort visits. It was nice. It gave me hospital experience. Just wasn't too extensive or anything. So that's that. It was a nice thing to have, and even for normal college applications, it's nice that I had some hospital experience when it comes to just being a pre-medical student. Okay, so the next one, this one is actually a pretty big thing. It's called the City of Hope Eugene and Ruth Roberts Academy. Honestly, usually it's a very competitive program. It's an actual like active research program. The year I did it, because of COVID and the quarantine stuff, it was all online, so I don't know how competitive it was. Maybe they took everyone, maybe they took a couple people. I honestly don't know, but it's something that looks good on a resume, so that's nice. Next one is also another summer research program. It's called the Cedars-Sinai Minors and Research Program. Same thing, this is also online, so I have no idea how competitive it was, if it was competitive at all to get in, but that's that. Last thing, so if you're planning BSMD programs, you need shadowing experience. I can't get real life shadowing experience during the pandemic, so there's something called Web Shadowers LLC. It's pretty much a YouTube channel where they do shadowing YouTube videos or live streams, and then kind of like fill out a form afterwards. That's that. Okay, moving on. So next grouping I have are my school organizations. This is all the stuff that I did within my school. I'm not going to dwell too much on these. They're pretty self-explanatory. One that's not is my first one, and it's called Destination Imagination. If any of y'all compete in Destination Imagination, you know what it is. If you don't, it's pretty much an art STEM combination competition. I'll talk about it in a future video if any of y'all want, but essentially you just like kind of make a skit. That's the event that I do. I do the improvisational event. So if you think of improv, pretty much the same thing, kind of. You get certain factors, you put them all in together, and then you make a skit in a certain time period. Within my school's academic team, I was the team captain since 2018, so that's my sophomore year. Sophomore, junior, senior year, I was the team captain, and then before that, I was a member of just Destination Imagination. So before my sophomore year, I wasn't actually on the school team. I did it outside of school. I've been doing it since 7th grade, so it's something that I didn't want to give up during high school because it would look kind of bad if I just like dropped it off. So I kept continuing to do it. The next one, I'm just gonna drop down right here. Arcade High School Speech and Debate Team, Arcade High School Boys Volleyball Team. As you all saw, I took volleyball, or I played volleyball for 3 years of college, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, because of COVID. Next thing, this is also another diversity thing that kind of looked good. My school actually started this new committee called the Arcade High School Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Student Committee. I took on the leadership role as group facilitator because no other seniors are doing it, and I wanted to make sure like if they're going to do it, then it better actually bear some fruit after I'm gone. So I just took a really active role in that, tried to actually make sure like when it comes down to next year that like actual change happens, because it's pretty hard for change to happen during the pandemic since everyone's online anyway. But it wasn't a big thing. It wasn't something that would look great on college, like look amazing on college applications, since it was really short lived. But it was nice to talk about as like so I could tell college that like even though I started doing the LDVC diversity session during the summer, I'm continuing to do it even in high school as a senior. Last thing is the National Honor Society. Didn't really do much in National Honor Society. I didn't even get the silver seal thing just because I forgot to complete all my service hours, but it's just something I had. Moving on, the next one I had was, so this grouping is called the other grouping, since there's things that don't really fit into any category. There's 2 activities in here. One of them is super big, one of them is super small, that when it comes to like my area, well not really area, but like my commitment. The first thing was Healthy Eating Initiative. This is something that I started during my junior year. They were looking for new officers, so I applied, and now I'm continuing to do it. I'm kind of refounding it, building it to a nonprofit for trying to do throughout college as one of my big extracurriculars. So I'll keep you all posted on this YouTube channel where that's going and stuff. And the other one was the City of Arcadia Recreation and Community Services Volunteer Program. I did this mostly through middle school, and then I did it for like 1 or 2 summers in high school. Just put it on there just because I did it a little bit during high school, so it's nice, but whatever. Doesn't really a big deal. Okay, so those are my extracurriculars. Now, let's get into the honors and awards. So, honors and awards, I don't really have any big honors or awards. Like, I know some people that have like Regeneral and Talent Search kind of stuff. That's none of this. It's just basic honors and awards. So, for honors, I have NSDA, so National Speech and Debate Association, because I did compete, or I was on speech and debate all 4 years, either in the class or just as what we call freelance, or like as a club. I was competing, but not actually in the class. These are just degrees or honors that you kind of get just for competing. Those are there. You can kind of read them right there. And then I also had CSF, or California Scholarship Federation. It's not a big deal. You just submit your report card at the end of each semester, and then if you have enough A's, you just get in. But as also another thing, I did it throughout high school, so I got the gold seal bearer status. And you get a gold seal unlike your diploma or something. Not that big of a deal. And the last thing was the AP Scholar Distinction. This is not really a big deal from now on, just because they're getting rid of it. But the College Board has something called the AP Scholars Program. If you get a certain number of 5s, 4s, 3s, whatever, you get certain distinctions. This is the highest one, I think. I have no idea, but that's what I had. Awards, nothing too fancy here. The only awards that are probably kind of cool are my American Red Cross Outstanding Youth Services Award nomination. I didn't actually get the award, I just got the nomination. And then American Red Cross Executive Volunteer Service Award, the gold category. Not really that big of a deal. It just shows that I put in a lot of time into the American Red Cross, had leadership abilities, all that stuff. The other ones is just general awards. Speech and debate, towards the bottom here, the Southern California Debate League. These are kind of pretty big-ish. The only one that's super big is the first one, the Fall Varsity Tournament. I got first place, but that was like a one-time thing. It is what it is, but that's it. In addition to awards and honors, certifications was the thing that I was talking about, because I did the YFAST program thing. These are all the certifications I got. I got BLS, or Basic Life Support Certification, First Aid Certification, Administering Emergency Oxygens, AEO Certification, I think that's what it's called, and Bloodborne Pathogens, or BBP Certification. These are certifications. They look nice for some BSMD programs. For the one interview that I did get for BSMD programs, the professor kind of wanted to talk to me about this, so I talked to him about it, but that was it. Last but not least, okay, so now that you've seen all my stats and extracurriculars, I kind of just want to end this video off with some advice. I know a lot of people do disclaimers and stuff like that, but I don't think that's really helpful to y'all. So to be helpful, I have some advice. So my advice is twofold. I have 3 pieces of advice for each section. The first section is stats advice, so stuff for your grades, test scores, all that stuff, mostly for grades. So the first piece of advice is if you're going towards, this is something I wish I knew. So obviously I'm going towards pre-med STEM kind of stuff. If you're aiming to go towards that field, you should try to have at least one AP humanities course every year. So this is if you're aiming for like super top colleges like Ivy League, all that stuff, the stuff that I really want to get into but couldn't. So what this means is you should try to take AP Science, AP Math every year, but then also add an AP Humanities. So this can be either history or English. Now obviously this is for schools that only have AP classes. If you have IB, if you have other stuff, I honestly don't know what's going on with that. My school only had APs, so this kind of applies to schools that only have APs. Try to have at least one AP Humanities. So if you're taking AP Chem and AP Calculus one year, add on either an AP History or an AP English class just so you look like a well-rounded student. Throughout I guess like throughout high school, I get a lot of advice from like people who not are well informed, just bad at giving advice. They'll say, "Oh, you need to be a well-rounded student to get into college. You need to be a well-rounded academic student, not a well-rounded extracurricular student." So that's something that I kind of messed up on. I did a lot of well-rounded extracurriculars. I just wasn't well-rounded when it comes to academics. So make sure to take at least one humanities AP every year. And if you're going towards STEM, if you're going towards law, humanities, that kind of side, then do the opposite. Take at least one STEM or math kind of stuff, and then take as many humanities as you can. I guess. Obviously, I don't know much about law and humanities, so don't take my advice for that. But definitely take my advice for the pre-med STEM kind of stuff. Do a lot of STEM APs, but also add on one humanities AP. Next, pluses and minuses can matter. Actually, minuses don't matter. Pluses don't really matter. Minuses do matter, and it depends on the college that you're applying to. So some colleges, well, actually all colleges will recalculate your GPA. So the GPA that you give them isn't going to be the GPA they're going to count for you. They're going to recalculate based on your classes. For some colleges, they count A minuses less than A's or A pluses. So just know that, like, I guess for me, I thought they were equal. So whenever I was working hard in classes, I was just working, I'm going to get that 90, I'm going to chill. If you can, try to get an A or A plus. Just know that there is a difference, that if you can, try for it. If you can't, then I guess that's it, or whatever. But they can matter sometimes. Lastly, upward trend. This is something that a lot of people talk about, and it's kind of understated. Really try to have an upward trend. If you fail one semester in certain classes, just build it up. And by fail, I mean, like, if your GPA drops a little bit during one semester, just try to build it up the next semester. Try to get that upward trend. That's what college really look for. I think, like, that's one of the big reasons why USC was the only top tier school I got into. My upward trend only, I guess I was kind of trying to leverage my upward trend to get into a really good college. USC was the one that panned out. So anyway, upward trend, really important. Alright, now let's get into the extracurricular advice. So when it comes to high school extracurricular advice, one of the biggest things I can give to you all, and one of the things that I've noticed within people that apply, that get into like really top tier schools, is that they make their own extracurriculars. They make their own nonprofits, their own passion projects. Passion projects is a word that's been getting thrown around a lot, and honestly, the hype is real. Like, passion projects can be very important when it comes to college admissions. So try to make your own thing. Try to figure out a problem within your community that you want to solve, and make your own initiative to address it. I think that really shows colleges more independence and autonomy when it comes to you, and it just shows that you're more of an adult than other people. So obviously it is hard. It's not easy. I'm not going to downplay it, but try to make your own. Not to say like you have to make your own and that's the only way and you're not going to get into a good college if you don't, but it's just a piece of advice that I have for y'all, is to try to make your own. And it's something that I'm planning for myself throughout college. As you saw, the healthy eating initiative extracurricular that I did throughout high school, I'm kind of taking that a step further throughout college, and kind of using that as like one of my biggest extracurriculars for medical school as well, when I apply to medical school. Second piece of advice is don't be afraid to drop things. So this is something that I wish I took to heart more throughout high school. As you all saw, my extracurricular list is very long. There's a lot of extracurriculars on there, maybe even over 20. But one of the biggest things I'll say is don't be afraid to drop things. Like for me, for example, I've been doing Destination Imagination since 7th grade. I wish I dropped it because I did not enjoy it at all. I mean, I wrote a couple essays about it, but those were kind of BS. But just realize that, like, don't be afraid to drop extracurriculars if they're getting in the way of your academics, if you're just not enjoying them, and if they're taking time away from other stuff that you could be doing. Just don't be afraid to drop stuff. Alright, next piece of advice is plan your extracurriculars. So everyone plans their classes when you're in 8th grade, or like even throughout high school. Everyone makes a 4-year plan for their classes. You figure out what classes you're going to take, what APs you're going to take, all that stuff. But most people don't plan out their extracurriculars. But I think one of the biggest benefits you can do for yourself is planning out your extracurriculars. Talk to high school students that are already at your high school. Figure out what extracurriculars have the biggest time commitments, what extracurriculars look the best. Well, not really look the best, but like have the most substance, and really plan out what you're going to do every year. Obviously, you can't predict what leadership positions you're going to get, but if you at least have a plan, you can modify it as you're going throughout high school. Obviously, with this also comes, I guess, like a bonus piece of advice is to also start making your resume as soon as you get your first extracurricular, so you can kind of figure out what direction your resume is headed in. Kind of figure out like what's on your resume already, what you can kind of add on to it, kind of create categories and stuff. I created my resume pretty late. I created my resume, I think, end of my sophomore year, which is pretty early, but I wish I'd done it a little bit earlier when I started getting my first few extracurriculars, started adding that to my resume, so I can kind of build it up from there on. Okay, so that's pretty much all the advice I have for y'all. I hope this video was helpful. The stats part probably wasn't helpful. I just do it because a lot of y'all asked for it. But I hope the advice was really helpful. This is the advice I wish I knew when I was starting high school. Like I said, this is part 3 of a 5-part series I'm going to be making called I Applied to 55 Colleges. The first part were my college decision reactions, and the second part was my college decision reveal. I have both of those videos in the description below, linked. Part 4 is going to be a breakdown of my college list, where I applied, why I applied, why maybe you should apply to these schools if you're looking into it, especially our pre-med and BSMD programs. And then part 5 is going to be a timeline of my whole college application journey and even more advice. So both part 4 and part 5 are going to have a lot of advice. I really hope that the advice stuff that I do, you all kind of skip forward if you need to and watch it, because this is where I hope this video is really helpful for you all. That's it for this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. I'll see y'all later.